left it again. This I left at my office. But no, I think my kids were at so one, I was lazy, and two,
Okay, it's 6:32. We're gonna call the meeting to order. Could everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Is there a, no, we'll imagine it's over there.
that looks good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight, we have an introduction of new hires, and do we have a new hire here? Yes, we do. Wonderful, Mr. Tyler Steinfield.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, so you're gonna be working at ECP as a teaching assistant?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not new to the Fountain family. Do you wanna tell us some of what you've done here?
Yeah. I've been coaching soccer here for the last 4 years and helping out the wrestling team. And we just had 3 kids place at sectionals this past season, so that was really cool for them. And our first ever girl wrestler come in second at sectionals, so that was awesome. And I've been a teaching assistant in district before, and we do a lot of stuff with like the community, my soccer team. So just happy to be back and involved with it all.
Wonderful, thank you. And we used to have pathways. I'm looking at Trustee Warner because you know there were pathways to be from a teaching assistant to teacher. I don't know if you're interested in teaching.
Yeah, we were trying to promote that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, so hopefully you never
Soon.
know.
Soon.
So thank you for coming tonight.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes? Oh. Okay, I will look at that. Thank you. Now we have ex officio report. We moved this up in the agenda. So we don't have just for you, so you wouldn't have home in the daylight, so late of a meeting. Do you want to give your report, sir?
Of course. So there's the obvious success of our men's basketball team. Tomorrow they're going to Yorktown, I believe, to participate in the sectional semi-championship or something. So good. They're doing a good job. And as Coach Tyler mentioned, our wrestling team is having great success also. Gisela Pullett making history as the first woman to place in like a sectional championship. So good job, her. We also, Daehan Chung was doing very good on the men's side, so congratulations to him. And today we had a parade to celebrate Cindy Udman, who will be going to States to compete for women's bowling. So great job to her. Our sports are doing pretty good, I'd say. Then the parade was also to commemorate the female athletes we have here at Woodlands. So it was great to see that. And in other news, we had the newspaper club publish their, I think it was winter issue. So that's available now. It was interesting to read. That's about all I have.
Can we get a copy of that maybe, Dr. I, the winter newspaper? How often do they do those, like once a month or once every season? Yeah, maybe we, right? Just to see what they're writing, how our kids are doing. Do you have a question?
To that point, before you leave, I think in the comments there are some in like a take one place, when you're looking at the cafeteria, the bulletin board way to the left, if you could just check that for us on the way up, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'll also note, is the voting for Jameson done?
Oh, Wednesday.
The
I
voting?
think it said Wednesdays.
It's until tomorrow, 3 o'clock.
He's in first place now.
He's in first place, but he needs more
Get your
votes.
computer, I gotta go get my computer. We
Just
vote.
refresh and vote, refresh and
Yeah.
vote.
And Jameson, did you announce he committed, to Norfolk State, for football, yeah. D1 school, which is great. Well, thank you so much for your update, Leo. Please stay if you can, but if you'd like to leave, we wanted to make it easy for you to leave as well, okay? All right, so board president's report, I'm actually gonna table my report for the essence of time. I put committee reports on tonight's agenda so that, any committees that didn't get to go last meeting, since we tabled it, can go this meeting. But if you want to table your committee report for the essence of time, that's fine too. There is I know we need to hear from facilities committee because there's some ultimate decisions that have to be made. So I know trustee Warner wants to go, but any other committees want to go before trustee Warner?
Just
Yes?
a little blurb
Okay.
on tech committee. I did not, we just had a meeting, last week, so I haven't had a chance to totally type up all the minutes, but just some updates. There were a couple hour of code classes that still need to reschedule, but in general went really well. The multi-factor authentication rollout is continuing and will encompass the whole district for all staff. And Bailey is now, each student is carrying their own one-to-one device with string bags, and that just started last week. There were a lot of questions at the parent coffee about that. Trustee Ballon and I were there and able to kind of troubleshoot in the moment. Most of the cameras are installed, and we're still finishing up on the next couple schools, but in general, doing well there. We looked at budgetary needs for the next year. Our acceptable use policy and digital equity survey is still going well. If there are paper copies available at the schools, if you need a paper copy. And that is the bulk of it as I'm scanning quickly. If any other committee members want to add something I might have missed.
Okay. Any other, when's your next meeting?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I just had them up.
Okay. What?
I just had them up, but I closed it.
Okay. Is there any other committees reports other than, I'm gonna get you to you, trustee Warner. Trustee Ballard?
I'm just going to announce that the next finance committee is March 19th at 7 p.m. Look online for the location, but it will be at the Woodlands Middle High School in one of the rooms, TBD, most likely here in the Freelo Center. Also, March 18th is the next education committee meeting. We're going to be going over the math and ELA middle of the year reports for iReady and topics around that curriculum. So you're welcome to attend, 7 p.m. at the Woodlands Middle High School Innovation Lab, March 18th. That's it.
Okay. Trustee
Tech committee, April 9th, 12 to 2, and probably in the little theater.
Okay. Send any questions ahead of time. So I would like to know, and I've been asked, so I want to follow up, how the data is triangulated. I don't know that you know what that means. I'm sure Dr. Njoku knows what that means. But how those data, those numbers are triangulated, or are they just reported?
I'm sure we'll address it that night.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Trustee Warner?
Okay, I've got a community engagement, and I've got 2 facilities.
So can you do CEC in a minute and a half?
I don't know. The Community Engagement Committee met on Tuesday, February 11th at 7 p.m. in the Hyden Cafeteria. We discussed the superintendent's dessert, in which our staff will provide an end-of-year review and celebration of our accomplishments. We're aiming for a June 10th date. Stay tuned for details. January 14th, Science Lab water main vote, 319 yes to 34 no. The WISE kickoff, a mixer in which students made contact with adult volunteers to aid them with their projects. The Woodlands Individualized Senior Experience allows our seniors to study a topic of their choice, anything legal. They journal, they pick their own mentor, they explore their topic or work experience, and give a final presentation to an evaluation panel that includes peers. If you'd like to volunteer your expertise, send an email to wise@greenburghcsd.org, WISE@greenburghcsd.org. The budget, a summary of the rollover presentation, and a pointer to the more recent presentation was talked about. Construction projects, we looked at the RJ Bay Auditorium and the Highview natural gas installation, and the solar panel carport in the Woodlands football field parking lot. It's just pictures to kind of show our progress. Dr. Iverson spoke of E&L data, communication strategies for the CEC, and data gathering for the strategic plan. The Nettie Jackson Extra Mile Award. Nettie Jackson was a longtime activist and a beloved student mentor here in the district. She's passed on. The award honors the community and staff for going the extra mile, or if you're not, right? If your community, anything you do, if your staff, it's not, something not in your job description, okay? We need to recruit a board member for the judges panel. Does anybody want to volunteer to be on the judges panel to judge okay, Tracy Meredith. Okay. There's an award presented at the 6/17/25 board meeting. A submission deadline according to Ivy is May 15th. The district website has the nomination forms in English and Spanish. You go to About, Board of Education, Nettie Jackson Award. Finally, we viewed pictures and video clips of the Lee F. Jackson Kindergarten Sharing Assembly, Woodland students caroling, the R.J. Bailey Auditorium ribbon cutting and winter concert, World Read Aloud Day, and the WISE kickoff, and the ECP Science Fair. The next meeting of the Community Engagement Committee is Wednesday, March 19th. Dr. Iverson, can you come?
Yes.
That's
At 7 p.m. at R.J. Bailey.
not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. The basketball game
Supersedes.
supersedes the CEC from my perspective. Okay. Okay, that was CEC. Facility. The Facilities Committee met on Thursday, February 13th at 6:30 p.m. at the Woodlands Innovation Lab. We discussed the lack of progress at the Woodlands Security Vestibule due to legal issues. How to bid the water main project given the successful public vote, the board vote for the complete project, the counter recommendation from the administration, and the district budget. The bid should be segmented and have an extended deadline for acceptance of either 60 or 90 days. If it's 90 days, then we'll be on the south side of the budget vote. So we'll know how much money we have and whether more money can be put into the fund, the capital transfer, right? So we'll see where we stand. The Woodlands tennis courts, running track, and roof replacement, the Bailey flat roof replacement are in process and scheduled for completion in the summer. The Highview window replacement is also scheduled for completion this summer. The district-wide energy performance contract, lighting is complete, gas line placement is complete at Highview, in process at Lee F. Jackson, and Woodlands is next. We look at which fire hydrants are located nearest the battery energy storage system. Woodland Science Lab gas service and eye wash stations project is to be coordinated with the water main bid. Okay. The upcoming roof replacements at Highview and Jackson will be next year. The Science Lab renovation schedule, and we talked about that quite a bit. So that the Facilities Committee met on, okay, that's one Facilities Committee report. Okay. Now the second Facilities Committee report. The Facilities Committee met on Thursday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. at the Woodlands Innovation Lab. The Woodlands Security Vestibule was waiting on the surety to vet the subcontractors that the general contractor will use to complete the job. Lisa, have you heard anything? Is there any progress?
I'd ask Kara.
So we received today from Jonathan Bondi, the attorney for the surety, information, basically the insurance that the subs were able to provide. Some of it the same, some of it a little better, and we're vetting that and we'll get back to you.
All right, it's in our hands. All right.
I'm sorry, for clarity, Jasmine has to vet it, or the surety has to?
The surety was just, what the surety was doing was basically just getting us the information that we've asked for months. And it's now in our hands, and we'll, considering the insurance issues.
And then who's making the decision about the insurance issues? Is it gonna
Ultimately,
be-
that will come to the board
Mhm.
to make a decision about how you wish to proceed. And we,
With,
When?
no, not,
Do you have the information so you can now control it?
correct,
Okay. About when?
for your next meeting.
so the next meeting, but,
We can,
my confusion is that, he's writing it down, so he's gonna follow up. My confusion is that I thought the surety wasn't pleased with the amount of
Correct.
insurance coverage. So now it's with us, is that the surety is okay with the amount? Or,
No, part of it was that the surety did not have
All the
accurate amounts, information from the subs. The contractor, the general contractor, Lisi, does have insurance, they do have the correct amounts, and everything for them is in order. It was just getting the information from the subs, we wanted them to add me as an additional insured, some have done that.
Mhm.
So we'll
All right.
do a further review and present it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The draft budget property tax increase has been cut from 5.11% down to 4.06%. So we think that crisis may have been averted, we'll see. And that will mean we don't have to worry about, do we have to take the money that we have and donate it into the budget to bring it into reasonable trim. The Woodlands roof had its HVAC rooftop units installed before the new roof was put on, and there was concern that we might need to bring back the big cranes. BBS indicated there is an inexpensive workaround that falls within the contingency budget. Not zero, but they have the money. We talked about measuring out the new tennis courts and the color of the running track around the Eller Memorial Field. Some wanted a green track to match our colors. The administration has chosen red, and the committee recommended that we revisit the color scheme. You have an email from the administration on this topic with several attachments. Red tracks resist ultraviolet light better, contrast with the grass, which is good for visibility, and cause athletes to secrete more adrenaline, which means faster times. Standard green costs an additional $25K, and custom colors are more. The leader of the Green faction has now heard the arguments and is satisfied that the decision was well researched and supports it. So, we held a closed session to discuss contracts. You'll hear more about that in closed session. The next meeting of the Facilities Committee is Thursday, April 3rd at 6:30 p.m. at the Woodlands Innovation Lab.
Thank you, Trustee Warner. What I do think is important, sorry, Trustee Valley, you go
Just
first.
to alleviate, well, we're probably gonna say the same, I'll go to just to the end point. Just to alleviate confusion, you said the leader of the Green faction now supports it. Clarify, they now support, back in the original decision to go with red?
Red.
Just to clarify,
Did you get the email?
I did. I'm just clarifying because I saw confused looks.
Does anybody on the board wish to study the issue or opine or change from the administrator's recommendation to green or something else?
No, but I do think what's important for the board to think about is something that came up at the meeting, which was the idea of branding and the idea of first thoughts to always be our brand, our colors. Trustee Valen researched and found the link that has our, we paid for color palette, branding, all the information, and that should always be like the first thought. If in a situation like this, it's researched and it's found that other colors work for whatever reason, they talked about the tennis court, that there's a reason to have the court blue, not necessarily green, because of the contrast between the green ball, tennis ball, and the blue floor. So they talked about that, so that's also a good reason, but that branding should be throughout. There's other things you can put on the tennis court, on the padding and on the
Sure.
court to
like
brand
the
it.
wall pads at RJ Bailey finally came in,
Right.
and they look sharp, they say Falcon. It's
Have
good.
Falcons, we actually have a logo, so it's just as much as possible. So I'm bringing that up because we did talk about whether or not the board wanted to put in some sort of policy around that or not, but that did come up as a formal conversation that may come to the board at some point. Do we put in a policy so that administration can follow the guideline to always think first for branding? So that came up.
Okay. And I think I'm done unless we're going, are we doing the,
We're gonna talk
Schools?
about the rest of the stuff in exec session as well. Do you have a school report for your liaison school?
I have Patricia Simone's email.
20 emails.
Yeah, okay.
Can
So
you do that
the old,
in
the old report was, the February 12th PTA meeting was canceled. Students celebrated the 100th day of school on February 13th and Valentine's Day Kindness Day on February 14th. Then in March, all month. Read Across America, National Reading Month. We'll celebrate the entire celebration the entire month of March. If you're interested in reading to the class in person or virtually, please contact your child's teacher to schedule a convenient time. I've also been told by Pat Simone that if you're a community member, you can make special arrangements to read your class. So contact Pat Simone. March 7th, PTA Spring Readathon. District-wide STEAM night is coming, right? So let's see. March 13th, WMHS cafeteria, 6 p.m. March 14th, trip to LaFell School, Purim Carnival, and LFJ T-shirts required. That's it.
Anybody else want to give a school report? I know we don't normally do them on today, so if you don't have it, that's fine. Trustee Valen?
I'll just mention two things. Tomorrow, which is March 12th, from 9 until 1, here at the Woodlands Middle High School Innovation Lab is the IB Art Exhibition. The public is welcome to attend, speak with the artists about their work, and see the good things we're doing as part of that program.
Is there any evening art exhibition?
Not until, I believe, the non-IB thing in the spring.
Okay,
One of them,
there's one in the spring?
the one that's
the
usually at
district
town hall,
one.
the art show.
The district art
The
show.
district art show.
Yeah, but not.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about at a future meeting. The other thing I want to mention, because I know we're short on time with what we have on our agenda, is next week, beginning on Friday, March 21st, is the Woodlands Spring Musical, which is Footloose. It runs Friday evening, 7 p.m., Saturday, 5 p.m., and Sunday the 23rd, 2 p.m. There's information on social media and the websites. You can always call the high school if you have questions. And I know we've raised questions about whether we give any additional information to our families about if there's any content advisory that needs to be, so
Is there any
if we don't have it right
any
now.
sexual explicit material? No.
What?
It's a PG-13, PG, not PG-13?
Last I heard it was PG-13, but my point is, I don't think we have that information right now. I'm just saying, if we, please look for possibly updated social media.
So we might want to say something.
Right, okay.
So if we could check with the play directors?
The point is, all are welcome, but some families may have concern about
Yes.
different content themes,
Yes.
and so we'll try to provide that information ahead of time so there's no surprises.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
Are there any public comments, Ivy?
Oh, wait,
Yes?
other
Oh,
schools.
sorry. No, they weren't, this is not usual,
Okay.
during the work session, so if you don't have it, it's okay.
No, I have it, that's why.
Okay.
For RJ Bailey, Officer Henry has finished up meeting with the 4th grade students. Or she's finishing up because she's already met with the 5th and 6th grade classes, one class at a time. They concluded their data meetings with the ELA and math coaches. There was a parent coffee on Friday with Miss Enriquez, Mr. Head, and Miss Borowski attended the parent coffee, and it was probably like 20 plus people, both in person and virtual. And a lot of discussion focused on the transition years from coming into Bailey and coming into Woodlands, which I thought was really helpful and relevant for a lot of families. And 2 RJB students were selected to participate in the All-County Elementary Chorus, and 1 student was selected to participate in the All-County Band. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any public comments, Ivy? No. We have policy review. I'm gonna turn the meeting over to Trustee Ballin. Policies.
No public comment. Okay, so following on the recent Governance and Policy Committee meeting where Dr. I provided us with some policies that we are ready to move to this stage, I can say that policy, you'll have them in front of you, I believe, policy 5250, sale and disposal of school district property, has some slight amendments that were suggested by by both our internal auditors and it was there was a trustee suggested some wording clarification. So that's the items in red. Any questions? I'm moving on. The next policy, yeah.
So
So just a suggestion, the first sentence, no school property, did you wanna stick in the word real between school and property?
That was debated, so, sure. No school real property?
And then the second sentence about the delegation of that responsibility, let me read it. However, the responsibility for these sales may be delegated. Do we need to define who it would be delegated to? Or it's just gonna be broad like that?
I'll ask
Carol?
legal to comment on that. It doesn't delegate our approval of it.
No,
I
right.
know that.
Right.
Yeah, I think what this, what this means is that you can hire someone to work with you on the sale of the property.
Okay.
I believe that's what it's referencing.
Should we tighten up that
Maybe we
language a
should
little
clarify.
for trustee Mann's suggestion?
Because we would hate to delegate it to a random person, like the board delegated to somebody else.
Yeah, I'd have to.
But we're getting too specific.
Yeah.
The,
Not for sales of property. Yeah, can you get it, okay.
okay. If we could get some clarification on that by the 25th, that would be good, and then I'll just ask our district clerk to just keep it on the track. Don't pull the.
Two more things. So sentence down, the net proceeds from the sale of school property will be deposited in the general fund. I don't know if you want to say into, I don't know, it's minor, but just want to throw that out there.
More accurate.
And then if we go down to equipment, second paragraph, we're just talking about, let me see here. If it's determined that reasonable attempts to dispose of the equipment have been made and those attempts have not produced an adequate return, the superintendent or designee may dispose of the equipment in any manner which he or she deems appropriate. Didn't know if we wanted to specify a time frame because that's not here. So could it take 1 year to dispose of the assets and sell them, or a shorter time frame? I don't know, but I thought it'd be helpful maybe to add that language. To kind of give it a cutoff when you dispose
Well, that's
of
Ms.
it.
Raymond, because a lot of that might refer to like assets.
So if we're gonna sell assets, we usually do it through a company called Auctions International. They'll come out and they'll assess it, they take pictures, and then they'll put it up for us, kind of like a bid. It's kind of like an auction house.
Okay,
We tend to keep it out a minimum of 2 weeks,
okay.
but it can be more. And there have been times where you can, if you don't get anybody, you can keep it up there and put it out for like another 2 weeks. Then you decide what you're going to do with it.
Okay, so about a month, and then.
You could, I would say minimum of 2 weeks, but it could be longer than that, depending on what the items are.
Do you find that, well, that there are assets that are, the things that were, items that we're intending to dispose of do
Linger.
sit around and linger for more than a month or two?
They are disposed of and not sold.
Dispose of and not sold.
Which is the alternate if they're not.
Do we,
But that's the thing, reasonable attempts, I don't know if we need to say after 3 attempts,
Yes.
after 10 attempts, you know what I mean? Because I'm just not sure
more
what the
specific?
pattern is, or does it depend on the type of equipment too?
It all depends on what the items are.
Right, so, okay. I don't know.
You could put something in there that a minimum of 2 weeks. And no, but I don't know if I'd wanna put it on the other end, like no more than a year, cause you don't wanna put folding tables out there for a year, you know? But I could see a minimum of 2 weeks.
Is there more harm putting a time frame in here than not putting a time frame? And I'm also asking you.
Well, if you put the minimum in there, I don't think that would hurt,
Right.
but I don't think I wouldn't put a maximum.
No, I think it'd be helpful, because you know, Ms. Raymond's point, if things are, I don't know, I feel like the goal of this is to, if we have equipment, try to sell it. That's what I'm kind of reading from there. And if we can't do it, then we'll dispose of it accordingly. But again, does it need to have a cutoff when we're trying to attempt to sell things? Because that means it's sitting somewhere in storage, taking up space, right? So
Right.
is that
So
efficient?
do we say like 6 months?
Well, could it be, again, if you put a minimum of 2 weeks, but could it be on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, maybe that could be it.
Mr.
Okay.
Mans, can I just ask, are we looking at defining if it is determined that reasonable attempts, are we looking at defining reasonable attempts?
Exactly. Like,
Whether
is
it's a
there
number of times or
number of
time
times
frame?
or a time frame, exactly. I think it'd be useful, because again, just thinking about storage and all the things.
Like, for example, if we've tried for 3 months,
Yep.
To
Like
sell it,
something-
that's why I was saying
Or throw
6
it out,
months. If
whatever
we
you
try
gotta
for
do.
6 months to sell it,
No, seriously.
then throw it out after 6 months.
Ms.
Something to
Raymond?
think about.
Ms. Raymond, what do you have a suggested time frame
For a maximum?
for a minute, if we've tried
I
for
say a
X-
minimum of 2 weeks, maximum of 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
Is there any harm in specifying that in the policy, Ms. Melnick?
Well, the harm is that it does limit you. Without these timeframes, it's not limited.
But that's the point.
But
We
what would
can't
be
use
the-
it anyway, so why are we
What would
keeping
be the,
holding on to stuff we
what
can't
would be the
use?
benefit of holding on to something we're trying to
Yeah.
sell? Like maybe next year
No,
it'd
no, what I'm
sell,
thinking
or-
is sometimes there's a market for things.
Right, so like next year it would sell, so
Right.
we'll hold it.
Okay.
Well,
You know, if you're
our only
pressured to
problem
sell
is
it
we have
quickly-
nowhere to hold it.
It's
Well,
not
that's
really
why,
bad.
that's why I think we have to,
Especially since the next year maybe more that we have.
Right.
We're just gonna run out and store it.
So if operationally we already know we don't have places to store things and we're trying to get rid of them, does it make sense to limit the policy? I mean, there's a difference between our operation activities and our policy.
well, yes, I think it makes sense to say within 6 months, so that they have to get it out within 6 months. If we're running out of space to store
And
things,
so an item is
a maximum.
no longer usable in March, but the prime time to sell it is in February, we should throw it out in July?
Well, maybe do we put something in there that gives a time frame, whether it's 3, 6, a year, whatever you think is appropriate to hold something that we've tried to sell, so it has to be
Well,
something.
could you put an example in there, but put what would the word, like,
Unless-
or whatever's deemed reasonable or something like that.
Not sure.
Yes,
Is the concern that things will linger and not be revisited?
Yeah.
right,
Could we put a revisit timeline on it? Like if it hasn't sold or anything, we revisit it in 6 months so that there's a check-in point rather than, because I hear the concern that if something is a beginning of the school year item and it is not really being used, we are missing an opportunity.
Well,
But
then-
if we make sure that we keep on top of it and have a policy where we are purposefully and thoughtfully managing it as opposed to having a hard deadline. So
Right.
I get your
So do we-
point and why
do we
we don't
put
want things to just,
do we put a
Linger.
clause in here that says, unless decided like by the Board of Education, if we're hitting 6 months and it's not time to sell, it sells in January, the administration brings it to us and says, this printer has to wait until January, and then we pass a resolution to wait until another 6 months or something like that.
So if you look at the under equipment, you have language there that says unusable by the district will be disposed of in such a manner that is advantageous to the district. That gives you that flexibility.
But we also need I feel
time,
like
that's
in
the
here,
time.
to either check in, like Aaron said, or, like, I would like some type of language with some timing of something, so we don't just forget about certain things. That was my goal.
That's the
with
point
this.
of your question, yes?
We're probably gonna say the same thing, go ahead, Trustee Lowen.
I don't know. My thought is, that I understand I understand from where you're coming. I'm just wondering if perhaps what we should do is instead of linking, because I do not, as a board member, want to see resolutions addressing the disposal of a printer. I would rather see that we have a plan to analyze our inventory as a whole. So maybe in the policy, it is it's an inventory control that happens on an annual basis of some sort, that we have a plan for keep, dispose, sell, whatever,
So-
as opposed to individual items.
So Trustee Long, I think that would be a whole new paragraph, which we may need to put in for, the administration will create a system of, I'm sure Mr. Pugliese has a system checking our inventory, but if that's what you're talking about, maybe we need to do that. We need to wrap this up, and trustee
Because
Valerie.
we have like 5 more to go
Yeah.
through. So I'm gonna say, all of this is a great discussion. We do have 5 more to discuss. I'm going to say there is a separate policy regarding inventories. I'm also gonna state that policies are supposed to be umbrellas. They're not supposed to be the operational minutia of what we do, of our procedures. So while sometimes we do designate specific things, I think well, I don't want to make a generalization, but I'll say one anyway. I believe we've only done that in the past when things haven't been moving along swimmingly, and
It seems like that's the concern.
You wanna table this one?
Yeah. we have to come
well,
back
it's
to-
still gonna come back in 2 weeks. So, I mean, I'm gonna fall on the side of saying if it is determined that reasonable attempts to dispose of, I mean, because if the board has to determine reasonable events, and suddenly now we're having another make-work thing of, please tell us how many times you've tried to dispose of XYZ inventory, I just see that as, to trustee Long's point, something that I don't know that this table should be doing at a board meeting. That could be follow-up in possibly committees.
So I think we're gonna table it, and Dr. I, can you talk with your assistant Suze about storage and come back with some sort of recommendation for us? If you feel like the time frame is needed, or if you feel like some other specific language that will help to move along your space, do you know what I'm saying? Thank you. Yes, trustee Long.
We could add a cross-reference to the policy on inventory.
That's a good idea too, yeah.
Just for the notes, Ms. Kraus, 5620. And there's probably one more in there too, but we'll stick with that one for now. Next one is school safety plans, 5681. Again, this was marked up both by Erie Wambosis and the Governance and Policy Committee. Any comments or questions on this?
No, but I'm gonna bother our student ex officio because he looks like he's about to leave. Do you have anything on school safety? Any of the students talk about anything? School safety or any concerns? No?
Not really.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
So, a multidisciplinary behavioral,
Excuse me, trustee Warner, where are you?
on page 2 of 6, the district has a multidisciplinary behavioral assessment team, or a county or regional threat assessment team. The establishment and participation of the district personnel in a multidisciplinary behavioral assessment team to assess whether certain exhibited behaviors or actions need intervention or other support, including a school or district level behavioral assessment team, or, if available, a county or regional threat assessment team. So somehow it's wordy,
Yeah.
okay? When these teams are utilized, the district will, and then it describes all kinds of. So yes, that needs to be
Make less wordy,
less wordy.
Okay.
but same meaning,
Yep.
okay?
Is there anything else? No?
Okay. Moving on, the next one is policy 7540, suicide. This was also, changes were suggested by Erie Wambosis, and then the governance team made a few small corrections in there.
I had a quick question.
Mhm.
All right, third paragraph towards the middle. Let me see here. The crisis intervention team will develop a suicide response plan, which will be integrated into the existing district-wide safety school plan. Is that in there now? And if so, where is it?
We did discuss that,
Mhm.
and it's something that Dr. Anderson is following up on.
Okay, so it'll get there, it's just not there
It
yet.
will definitely be done this spring if it's not there.
Okay.
And the building level came into effect in our meeting because we talked about the fact that different buildings may have different responses to suicide, little kids and statements and older kids' statements or behaviors.
Okay.
And to clarify that there is, excuse me, and to clarify that there is building level teams already in place in addition to district-wide, so we wanted that specify for that reason as well.
Okay, and last one, just a little repetition. Fourth paragraph, the fourth line, the district will actively respond to any situation where a student verbally or behaviorally indicates their intent to attempt suicide or. So you got it in black and you got it in red. I don't know if you want to take this one.
I only see,
Or in black and then or again in red.
oh, gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, just Lisa.
It's the same section where it says engage in self-harm. Not all self-harm is suicidal. And I don't know if then the whole,
That's why it's an or.
right,
We
but,
discussed
but
that.
it's developing a plan with a suicide prevention team for self-harm that might not be suicidal.
Suicidal.
So I'm wondering if it should be a suicide and self-harm policy, because they're not always
Yeah.
the same.
That's good, good point.
Anything else? Seeing none. Okay, the next one is 8110, curriculum development. Now this and the following two policies are different enough from our current policy that that's why it's all black text instead of redlined. Our policies, I believe, on these three items were very short, so it's amplifying some of the information. So any questions on the curriculum development, which is also renamed Curriculum Development Resources and Evaluation, or maybe that's just my shorthand.
Nope, next.
Seeing none. Next one, 8330, objection to instructional materials and controversial issues.
This is
Can we
Karen.
ask questions?
Huh?
We're asking.
That's the reverse.
All right, I'm sorry.
Is there any questions on 8330?
Page two.
Oh, sorry, page 2.
Yeah, so the last paragraph, under record keeping, the district will maintain a record of delivery of instructional services, student progress.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Page,
Page two.
Wait,
Which page she's
Wait,
on?
wait,
Eight-
we're on the last one, right?
8450.
No.
Right, 8450.
oh no, it can be, 8450.
Does anyone have
8450, home
That's how
hospital,
you moving along, just skip.
or institutional
hear.
instruction, homebound instruction. Okay, go ahead. Page
So,
2.
yeah, it's for record keeping.
The last one.
So it's the last paragraph, I'll say the second sentence. So this includes, but is not limited to, a record of the dates, amount, and type of instructional services the student received. For amount, what amount? Is it the amount of time? What amount is that? Okay, so should we define hours? Because I don't see that, is it me? Because I was saying, I don't know if we need to add that verbiage.
Is there ever any, sorry, yes?
It's on record keeping, it's on page 2, it's the last paragraph.
Is there any ever time, oh my gosh, I can't see. Is there ever any time, Dr. Joku, Ms. Novick, or maybe someone in our audience,
Mr. Drew.
where,
no.
Dr. Giroux, will,
Dr. Giroux,
that
so.
instructional services would be provided apart from time, like, 2 units of study as opposed to number of hours of instruction? Is there any reason why it should remain amount versus hours?
I don't see a difference, the state dictates the number of hours. So.
So it says the district will maintain a record
But
of
it's hours and
delivery
days, actually.
of instructional
Oh.
services and student progress. Makes sense.
Hours
This
and days.
includes, this record includes but is not limited to a record of the dates, amount, and type of instructional services. So what does amount mean?
Amount, if you're talking about the regulations, it's days and hours, that's the requirement.
So record of the dates,
Days.
days and hours, and type of, can we put the words days and hours for clarity?
Okay.
Or just time spent?
Yeah, amount.
Yes?
If we say days, do we get 4 days? Or if we say dates, do we get March 1st through March 4th? It matter.
Days and hours it should be.
Days and hours, okay.
Days and hours.
Days is a number of days or
Yes.
days?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't, does it not matter to us what those dates were in a record?
I think
You want
keep
the dates.
Keep dates,
And you want
comma,
the days
days
and
and
the
hours.
Okay.
So the amount, just
Days.
replace the
And
amount.
type of instruction.
Days and hours.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other, yes,
Just because I was looking at other policies earlier, in some places, we have words written out and then parentheses, the number, and other places we don't, and it's just not consistent, and I was just curious if there was a reason why.
A lot of that. Okay, we'll go back and look at it. I thought we did
In
that.
this policy or in general?
In general,
Right.
I've seen
On this policy, we
changes
have them
happening,
added.
going different directions, so before we have to check everything.
Well, depending on the style guide you're using, if it's any number less than 10, you spell it out.
Right, but like this
But
says
we
5,
request-
parentheses
We
5.
request, because the committee suggested that the number be also.
I like the number.
Area 1, so we've had Area 1 since before 2012, and sometimes they add the dates, they revise it again, they take out, not dates, the number, then they'll take it out, they'll put it back in, so I guess whoever's doing the policy revision, however they like doing it at BOCES, that's why it gets changed, and that's why we don't see consistency.
Can we just pick one for us and do it that way?
Which is why in blue, when you see the blue text, it's what the committee suggested, so that came
Because
from
I
us.
forget what I was reading, but there was one where the number was there and it was crossed off, and I was like,
That's because Area 1 have recommended that.
Okay, any other comments on these policies? Okay, these changes will be incorporated and then they will be presented to the public at the next regular meeting on March 25th. And the pending items from legal and admin hopefully will be addressed by then. Thank you. And communicated to the clerk.
yes, trustee Owens?
Do they go out for public after that, or is this where I'm just
It's another
reminding
The
thing.
changes will be incorporated
Yeah,
by March 25th.
okay,
And at that meeting, they will be presented to the public.
For 30 days.
Incorporating those changes.
thank you.
For 30 days.
Okay, next we have calendar discussion. Pick up your trusty little packet of, I don't know, 11 copies of the calendar.
Yeah, so what I did,
I'm not going through all of these. I recommend number 4, sounds good.
4A, there's a
There's
4A,
There's
so.
an A.
So, yes, what I did is, hearing the conversation, I wanted to come back with samples of calendars to let you see how they look.
Hold on, I just want to make sure they're hearing us. They're hearing you. Sorry, you were talking.
No, we
Oh, you can hear her? Okay, I just didn't want
I
to
was
miss
just
what
making
she's
sure I had the
saying.
latest copy.
4A.
Well, you have one
I
through
got one
6.
on Monday, and now we have a new one.
Yes, so the new
It's up
ones
to
I
that.
can
Okay.
tell you are in the back. You have a 4A
Okay.
and a whole new number, 7A and B.
I thought I saw that
Not
last
even looking at
night.
those. I am not.
So I went, so 1 through 6, we went over last time. So, I took the discussion we had, and I wanted to bring, sent you in the packet what it looks like for this discussion today. So look at 4A. So 4A is changes. What it says here is that it includes, it's at the top, I have it here too.
Oh.
It includes, so I took away a PD day, so it includes 3 professional development, social conference days, but we still maintain 180, which is what I recommend we do, never go below. It includes staff still coming back in August, as you can see those 2 dates there, where we do have the blessing already from the union. If we choose a calendar for that, they said yes, because it also includes the 2-week vacation for the holiday. It includes, so what I heard here was, it includes a day before Thanksgiving. So if you go to November, that 26th now, it includes we don't,
2-hour early dismissal.
2-hour early dismissal. Someone brought that up. Can we leave early on that? Because the discussion was, the next day is Thanksgiving. No one has time. So it includes that, and that's what you can see there. And everything else, your 10 days for holiday, winter, everything, 3 days for winter break, spring break is 5 days. So this meets all the requirements if you want to go with 4A. And we added, I think let me see. We added Eid al-Adha here. That was so that's why the days professional development went down to 3 rather than 4.
So 2 things.
Because I had to take a day away.
Trustee Jacobson, and I'm sure you have trustee Dowd.
So my apologies first because I was not at the last meeting, so hopefully I'm not repeating anything. Just as a point of clarification, is there a particular reason why we always have the week before Easter versus the week after Easter? And this coming year, Easter is April 5th. And the reason I'm asking is because it gives a little more space between the February break and spring break, because it does feel like, at least especially this year too, like feels like the minute we get back from February break, we're leaving again. So that was a thought to kind of spread it out a little bit more. And personally, I think, I felt this way last year too, the more PD days are better. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have the 2, in this version, there's the 2 in August, and then there's only 1 more for the rest of the year. So I do know, like, in the tech committee, they really used this most recent PD day to help train people. And they wouldn't necessarily know in November what they needed to revisit for the whole rest of the year. And I think having it scattered more throughout the year gives opportunity for specific training when needs are identified throughout the year, as opposed to like, oh, November's done and no, there's no more training days. And I think it hamstrings departments when they could use that time to really enforce either district-wide or department-wide trainings that is really hard to do when the kids are in school.
Trustee Miller?
To your first point, it's because we're usually also encompassing Passover. So Passover in 2026 begins the evening of April 1st.
Gotcha.
And that's
Okay.
why this year I think we have other little days to encompass that. So, tacking on to your last point, I will recommend draft 7A to add the 4th Superintendent Conference Day back in, and all the holidays.
Wait, what's the difference with 7 days?
We have 3 snow days instead of 4.
But we go below 180 days. Students, we need to stay at 180 for student days.
But the 4 Superintendent Conference Days count for instructional time to meet the 180. So we actually have 179 plus 3 snow days in that scenario, so that's 182. My math is right. Wait, is that my math right?
Yes,
4
it's
days.
170, yeah. 140.
Right,
183, not 182.
thank you, for Superintendent Conference Days, I was looking. So we'd be fine. We'd meet our instructional time.
Sounds good.
We'd meet the requirements per NICET and the commissioner's regulations.
But
It
the
is,
students
The
still
students-
only have 179. We do meet it holistically
But
because
the
it's 179.
superintendent conference days count as student days.
they count towards the
Not to the
180.
kids.
They
Not
have
to
a-
the kids.
Right.
To the state, which is what the mandate, the requirement is.
Is there a policy on this? You can
I
write.
think.
There's the
double check
NICET
it.
It's
guidelines.
a NICE guideline for, it's not a policy for dates. Yes, trustee Long? Did you want to say anything? Because I know there was some conversation at the last meeting about kids being in school.
Yes, how about we take another vacation day away instead of, 170, I get it. But there's a whole lot of days off in a year and they're scattered and it's very difficult for families to manage this. The grouped ones are great. But the discussion of being okay at 179 is to me, ignoring the fact that the kids are the ones that are supposed to be in here. So I'm not a fan of going to 179 or even 180, let's go to 185.
For school days.
Yes, for student days, but each conversation, we're
Would you
adding
wanna
another
take-
holiday,
would you
we're
wanna
gonna
take
take
away-
another day away.
Would you
I
wanna-
do like the PD days, but I think we should take
Vacation day away.
take away an extra
What
day
vacation days
somewhere.
would you take away?
Anything green.
Wait, there's too many. What are you saying?
So one of the scenarios in this packet is a shorter winter break.
Yeah.
I think one of the scenarios that was not the favorite, I don't even know if it's in this packet, yes it is,
Yes, it
is a
is.
shorter holiday break in December. Start the holiday break later, or cut the winter break short, or 2 of the scenarios in this
Oh, like in the front or
packet.
the back of the
Right.
the
or take away one of the holidays that aren't required holidays.
Like what?
Then who do you,
What's
I
your
don't know,
fault?
it doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'm sorry, hold on, what's a not required holiday? You're talking about
Any required federal holidays.
you're talking about the cultural holidays to take away?
I'm just saying any holidays that not.
Well, which
that-
would not be,
I'm not suggesting one, I'm suggesting,
what are not
we stick
federal
to the
holidays?
one.
Anyone else wanna say what a not federal holiday is? Since you won't say, I don't know which ones are not.
the ones that are not currently required
Yeah,
in New
and then
York
like
State
Yellow Card, I
are,
don't think it's a federal holiday.
So you wanna take away one of the Eats?
What, the Eats aren't federal.
Those are the only two? Okay, so you,
Diwali is also not required in New York State
They're
currently.
not. But-
Eids and Diwali, so we have 3 days that are not required here, 2 Eids and
We
a
had
Diwali?
Diwali last year, and
Where is the Diwali one?
Is
Oh,
lunar
it's
a
up-
federal
October
holiday?
20th.
Lunar?
It's a New
Is
York
it state
State,
holiday?
it's a New York State
yes,
holiday.
but
So-
Diwali is, here it is, it's on the 20th of October.
Okay, so you're proposing either a October, Diwali, or one of the 2 Eids in March and
March
May?
20th or May
You're saying one?
27th.
I'm just saying put one day back from where it comes. I'm not an administrator, so.
You're a board member.
I
So you're
don't
supposed
manage
to
the
also make a
calendar.
decision.
I
So-
suggest that we put one day
Right,
back.
so
Yeah.
which would you prefer? You're the one making the suggestion.
I
There's one
have-
in October, which is earlier in the year.
It's,
There's one in March, which is like toward the, close to the middle. There's one in May all the way in the end.
it's not about me, it's about
You
the
don't care?
students, so I don't have a preference for which
Trustee
day. Yeah.
Jacobson.
I think in general, I think any place in any of these versions where there's days off and then one day back to school and then the weekend, it makes no sense, because I think to your point of kids being in there for education purposes, like, that's the day people are just going to be sick and not be here. So I think like, there's a couple versions where January 2nd is a day back. I feel like almost that's a waste of a day.
Right, that's.
There's a,
So there's a couple of those moments, so like if we're going to truncate something, I think we truncate it where there's not a one-off day.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree, if you look at draft 1, for that break, it
Draft
puts it up
2,
at the
we would
beginning.
look at those then, because that's. when we-
Right, but it also
For that
has January 2nd in school, and I feel like that day makes way less sense than
Oh,
the
yeah,
December
I-
22nd and
I agree, I
23rd.
agree.
Because at least
So
then
you're
like,
saying not break from Christmas, for a Christmas break, or winter break, I guess it should be called, sorry. Not break for the winter break until the 23rd.
I think wherever you take it from, if you're taking it from somewhere, like even if it's winter break, the February break, taking one day back, I think is a waste of a day.
Got it.
I think
Okay.
anytime you have this
Understood
one
that.
day, everyone is not in the headspace to
Got it.
do the work.
Trustee Warner, and then we're gonna try to make a decision. You want to say something?
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were moving, I'm sorry, I saw movement. Okay, any other feedback? No, so we're gonna go around and pick calendars at this point, because I'm sorry, you
I meant
recommend
4A,
not 7A.
not 7A, that was my recommendation.
The recommendation is 4A.
But I was,
What?
yeah, 4A, that's it.
But I want,
That one does include still all of the holidays that are not federal holidays, as that's been, the direction we've been going. So 4A was the best kind of the calendar that met what most of us said we would want. So we have a 2-hour delay, a 2-hour dismissal in November. So people, I will tell you, staff does appreciate the 2 full weeks during the winter. They do like that. And coming back on that Friday on the 2nd, like, makes no sense. So I've kept that here and there because that came strongly from the unions. And so they really suggested, would love to see that, and so.
I think the kids and families might like that as well, that the ones that travel, I don't have money
Oh,
to
that's-
travel, but if you have money to travel, having the full 2 weeks off is a good break.
So if, I would go with 4A, but if we were to agree to take back one of the days so we can get another PD day, I would appreciate that, but because there are only 3 days, and who made the point about the first one, the last one is in November, they get no more professional development for the rest of the year, and and so, but we have to take it off the vacations.
Okay, does anybody want to chime in at all?
Yes.
Okay.
We can take a day
I just
from
need a minute.
February, from the winter, we can take it anywhere you want. but
What were you gonna say, trustee Miller? Because we're
Um,
gonna go around, so just be ready.
now I'm looking at 7B,
7B.
which has four
So
PD
7B,
days.
let me tell you what's in
It
7B.
truncates the winter break in February.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-day break instead of a 5-day break.
They're not gonna like that.
The winter break, they
Not many
who?
are gonna like it.
Sad, faculty, maybe parents and kids, but
I don't know. was
I
wondering.
believe the unions and the staff will not like that. They
Okay,
always say they
You
need
can
to
look
make
at all the calendars you want, we're going around. Because everybody had these, don't pretend it wasn't in board docs.
But you do have 4 PD days on that.
And we've had the first 6 calendars for the last 2 months, so, or month.
Yeah.
or
It's
something
only been
like
a
that.
month, we got it the last month, I think.
No, the 6 we had for about a month, for 2 meetings ago. But then the last one she added, I'm sorry, the first 4
Yeah.
we had 2 months ago. Then she, huh?
No, I'm just saying, just going.
Okay, so trustee Warner.
Four
Oh,
A.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
The problem is there's too many options, that's
Right.
what it is.
Well,
I
Dr.
think it's too
But
many.
it's
Because you've spoken
7:32, so I don't
Right.
wanna, everybody's gonna wanna leave
Dr.
on
I've
time.
spoken to the unions and we haven't, so I'd like to understand, you spoke to them about
Yeah, we
the holiday break.
Mhm.
You talked to them about,
festival
you believe that they won't want to truncate the February break.
No holiday.
What about starting the spring break? No, you just, it's a week, it's a week, it's a week.
They were very clear about really feeling that, for the social emotional being of them during the year, they really feel they need to be regenerized and they need their breaks.
And I'm saying that
So-
because back in the, another option, I'm so sorry, Tracy, I know.
I just don't wanna hear it when it's time to end the meeting. Everyone's gonna write how long the meeting was.
We built in
This is
3 to
what
4
the
snow
working
days,
group-
depending on the version of the calendar. There is a model where we have 0 snow days.
That's true.
I hear what you're saying, nobody likes remote instruction, but we have 0 snow days, but hey, if we need a snow day, suddenly now we're gonna truncate one of these breaks later on.
We will have to do that, that's right.
Well, not in these, because
Not
you
in
built
these,
in 3
right,
snow
that's right.
days, but if we just, like, we've had 1 and, I'll call it 1.5
Are
right
you
now this year.
creating another calendar?
Yeah, I know, that's why you're not gonna like what I'm saying. I'm saying, what if we got rid of snow days, built in the PD day? I'm leery of having no PD days.
That's fine,
Um,
but, and you don't like any of the calendars, so you wanna make it.
Well, not that people will agree with. I'm just throwing out the get rid of snow days option. And then say if we don't have snow, and then that way you can build in the PD days, and we just assign, okay, if we do use a snow day, suddenly spring break will
can't
start
hear
a
you.
day later.
Okay, wait a minute, I'm sorry. In your calendar, because now I'm really confused, because I heard concern about how many days the students are in. How many days of school are the student, not the required days by the state, but how many days are the students physically there? 100 and, huh?
In the,
It's your calendar, you gotta tell me how many days. The one you just created, no snow days,
in my brain.
right? How many snow days are
There's
in?
100
Right now it's 4 in 7D.
4 snow days, so if we give them back, that's 184? Is that what you're talking about? Would that be 184 days?
So if you give the snow days back, that is instructional days for the student?
Yes,
Yes. So why don't you just for
with no snow days.
well, just go to 2 snow days and add a PD day, right?
I don't know, I'm lost on that.
Well, last time, everybody chose number 4, but you wanted to add a holiday. Why don't you go back to number 4 and take one of the non-federal holidays away?
Well, that's what we're going around to vote, and she came up with a whole nother calendar.
Well, then pick her.
I was ready to go around.
Well, snow days have no, so you don't want to offend somebody's religion, and you don't want to pick which religion you want to offend.
Did you
But
want to say
snow days
something?
have no
Can you
religious
help wrap this
representation.
up? I don't know who you are.
I'm a parent.
Hi, parent.
Hi, I'm a parent. I just wanted to say, because you were discussing him great, just from growing the perspective that I'm a working parent, I don't have family nearby, so I end up paying for childcare every day the school is closed,
I don't know you, but I
and
like
2
it
weeks of winter break being closed, like literally my heart just sank, and I was like, what am I going to do? Because also stuff is like, there's not always childcare is readily available at winter break because everyone wants time off. So my 2 cents is that if you shorten winter break, that would be so good for working parents because it's really hard to find paid childcare at that time.
When's your break meeting, the December?
The 2 weeks in December. 2 weeks in December. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah.
Well,
sorry,
thank
yeah.
you for your opinion.
Thank you for your feedback. That was actually my response about this year. We went back 2 days early, but there were some parents, I will give you the flip side. There were some parents that said we would have rather just had the whole week. I didn't because I also have to work and I also have difficulty finding childcare, but there were some parents that felt the opposite. So it's tough, as you can see.
And when we come back, and from the district's perspective, we do that, we don't have good attendance.
A lot of people didn't come
So
back.
keep that in mind. Like, we have
From staff or students.
Or students.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't,
true.
you know, when you come back the day, like one day before the week, they're gonna take it. So this
The
was
ones
the
that
kind
can't.
of, the ones that can't, okay, but this was the kind of not do that too.
But-
And that was from the unions, they said,
Thank
no,
you,
that's
that's
not,
I
and like
feel
that.
like if people have resources and they're taking vacation time, like great, good for them, you're enjoying vacation, but for everyone else who can't take 2 weeks vacation in December, I think it would be nice to have a bit more school. Not like everyone
No,
should
it's a
do
good
that,
point.
you know?
I felt the same, I guess.
Can I be a super big pain in the butt? And
Don't make another calendar.
I did. So, draft 3 has an additional PD day. I did like the half day on Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And that does have December
That
22nd.
is not half day.
Yeah, that.
I know, but I
Make it
made
a-
it one.
You're gonna-
Oh,
okay.
I added that because I do think having it off this year was very helpful to me personally, but I think having a half day would still help in general, and that would still count as more in-person time. And that one also has the 22nd and 23rd of December in school, but I would make January 2nd a day off.
And
Just
I would
one,
kind
that's a
of-
one-off.
No,
Oh, you would say
right
make
now
it
it is to
completely
be in
off.
school,
Okay.
and I think
You
that
said
would
include it.
Instead of.
make it part of break, so that break is, instead of 2 full weeks, December 22nd and 23rd are still in school, and then you have the rest of that week, and then,
So
it's extra long still, because you have the weekend in the beginning of January, but like, I think it'd be really hard to get anybody here January 2nd and then have a weekend. Right
Trustee
after.
Long, you gotta bring it home.
Yeah. Draft 4A came from our last meeting.
Yes, it was.
Draft 4 is what it was inspired by.
That's right.
And we added,
We added, Ella, Holodoc.
and
And early dismissal.
so that is off school, May 25th, back to school, May 26th,
That's the other.
off school, May
Yeah,
27th.
that's choppy.
So if we just go back to draft 4,
So you draft 4, great. So trustee Rebecca Semple, have you changed? I'm gonna put your vote in for 4. Trustee Semple.
4A.
Trustee Alon. I'm sorry, trustee Mans.
Just a minute, I'll come back.
Come back to you. Trustee Jacobson. 3 with your changes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't support just 3 PD days. Like, I don't see that working.
Did she add anything or not?
Huh?
3.
3 doesn't have any meat on it.
4A has 3 PD days. I don't see how that
So do you want draft 4?
works for our,
4-ish.
No, draft 3 has 4 PD days. You want-
draft 3 has 5 PD days, which is
Even
part of
better,
what
what
I
you
like.
for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want 3 with the slight changes?
Yeah,
to
so
the-
just, even if you take one of the snow days and make it 3 snow days and then put in January 2nd.
Got it.
Okay.
Trustee Valerie.
Oh, no, I'm not giving an answer. Draft.
You're not giving an
The one you just
answer.
voted on starts in September instead of August.
Guys, it's 7:40. Jeez, just saying.
I know, I still was okay with that. I think, if I remember
She's fine with
correctly.
3. What number do you want?
I don't want to vote right now.
Well, somebody has to vote. Trustee Mans, we're back to you.
I can't vote, I'm sorry. I can't.
So you want none of them? Do you wanna create your own calendar like Trustee Valen?
Yeah, can I?
Yes, tell us what you want.
I'm not right now. I need time to analyze. I need my spreadsheets and all the things. Okay. Where's the template for this? Can you send me it so I can play around with it?
We have it.
I'm serious, because we have to be, again, like David was saying, Trustee Warren was saying, we have to incorporate those cultural holidays. I think that's important. I like your idea of the 4 PD days. That's beneficial.
So do,
Take it
no,
from
no,
somewhere.
there is a calendar that has addressed all your needs, or your,
There's 7
points.
calendars here, I think.
Well, Trustee Valen's no, snow days addresses that issue, or 2 snow days addresses that issue. Do we want it, I mean, we don't have it in front of us, but do we want the 2 snow days?
I don't
with
think we
possible-
need 4.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
What?
I don't feel like we need 4 snow
She
days.
said 2. Her,
very rarely.
Superintendent comes.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
her suggestion is 2 or 3.
So we got 2 snow days.
Two snow days would get 2. So which calendar is closest to this plan? 4A. 4A?
4A.
With 2, 4A, is that what we're saying? With 2
4A.
snow days?
Yeah, because it has 3.
And if we add back in a PD day, that's 2 snow days, right? So
You got it?
add plus a PD day.
Did you write it down?
Um,
So we can give it to Dr. I later? Does anybody object to this? It's every holiday and the non-federal holidays, every holiday.
Yeah.
It's a 2-week full break.
We come back in August, which is good, and we get the long break
School
for
starts
Labor Day.
right after Labor Day
Yeah, you
for
get the long-
parents.
so They get the full vacations each time.
4 PD days.
Yeah, 4 PD days.
It's the full 2 weeks of winter break, or whatever break.
It's 2 full
Holiday
weeks.
break.
So can we work with like
4A.
providers? Yeah, can we work with providers like TYCC or the
Okay.
daycare providers to see if they'll offer childcare during those times, so we can let our parents know
They know
they can
ahead.
use
Okay.
that service? And also, if you talk with your administrators, maybe May 26th can be a district-wide SEL day, because it's, some
Or
people
can
might
that be
not
a
come.
PD day, and then at least staff is in but not
Or the PD
teaching?
days.
Like, I'm just trying to
Oh,
think,
but
I don't know if
the
that
kids
late in
will
the
be
year PD
Yeah.
makes sense, but
Does that make sense on May 20?
May
May
26th.
26th, that weird in-between day.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Dr. Njoku?
I'm just thinking about what Dr. Iverson put together, like we originally, the last meeting, we had 4.
4 or 4A?
4.
4. Uh-huh.
4.
And I believe a lot of people were in it, there were just a few who wanted some changes, which is why we made 4A, but 4 was initially recommended.
Without Diwali, that's the only difference with this, right?
No, that's the only difference.
Sorry.
And then the half day in at Thanksgiving.
And the half-day dismissal
And the half-day.
before Thanksgiving.
Just because of that interruption that people were speaking about midweek.
Well, Dr. Drupa, when you guys had the conversation with staff and whatnot, did the 27th even come up in your conversation, May 27th?
No, that's why
Not at
4
all.
was recommended previously.
So,
That
okay,
other one in March was that
only that one.
Eid al,
Alada.
yeah.
You pretty much give back
Okay.
one of your snow days for the walk.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I think that's where we are.
Which is 4%. If we
4.
do 4, but
Yeah.
take off Eid and go down to
Yeah.
3 snow days.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying about the having a day off, a day
Right.
off. We always have district, we have, what do they call it here? It's Day of Happiness.
SEL, it's a day of SEL
Staff won't come to
district-wide,
work that day.
SEL
But yeah,
day.
you can't run
They're
an
not,
SEL day
they're
if you
not
don't
gonna come,
staff.
they're not gonna come to work.
Oh, you're saying the staff may
The
not
staff
come?
will definitely-
All of the above.
Oh, I missed that.
Staff
part.
and students will
Yeah,
not come.
that's-
Yeah, I'm like,
Mm-mm.
I'll go 4.
Yeah,
I like
lots of-
4, that's why I like 4.
4, I like 4.
But if we take off Al-Adha, Fatir, we can go down to 3 snow days.
Which Eid is more important? I thought the second one was more important.
The one we just added?
No, I shouldn't say more important because it's folks' religion and it's not right to say what's more important or not, and it's not my religion, so I'm not sure. Does anybody know which religion, which day is more,
Why don't we, okay, here's my last suggestion. So why don't we go with 4 and ask Dr. Iverson to consult with her staff? Because I know there are staff that would have information on that. And have opinions on that.
Which one is more
That's my
important?
vote.
Eid al-Adha. Well, now you're voting,
So
okay.
it's
Well,
basically,
for me, it's 4 or 4A.
Okay.
Trustee, well, we got a tie between 4 and 4A, trustee Mans.
I thought we were gonna ask, oh, Lord.
And trustee, if you wanna chime in, trustee Jacobson, because you're on 3, do you wanna go?
I know I'm rogue. And how are we adding the PD day?
We're supposed to.
As long as 4A includes another, at least one more PD day.
Okay.
4A you want, okay, so we got 3 for 4A, 1 for
Still an advised version.
So that's 4.
So that's basically 4, but with the half day,
So you don't want the holiday?
are we, how do I say this? I feel like any way I say it is gonna sound bad.
Yeah.
They're based on the lunar calendar, so it's gonna
No,
jump around.
are
every year?
we allowed to have a superintendent conference day? Like, let's say hypothetically it was on that second Eid, and anyone who, like, almost like a flex PD day where
Staff
it
don't
would,
have to come?
or yeah, like that, is that just like super wacky?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I appreciate it. I thought so, but I'll throw it out there anyway.
Okay.
Try.
So you say 4A or 4? With or without the holiday?
I like the half day before Thanksgiving.
We could put that on both,
Okay.
with or without the holiday.
It's
Why don't you give the
I need the
26th
PD
and
day.
pick 4, give the 26th and 27th of May off, and take away the 22nd and 23rd in December.
Could do that.
So we have 3 days in May back to
Yeah.
back?
Yeah. And then take,
And take the 22nd and 23rd.
that addresses some of the
And
childcare needs in
addresses
December.
the childcare, gives you your holidays,
And
people
4
that,
PD days.
and gives you 4 PD days.
Okay, did everybody follow that plan?
I can back that.
I can back that.
All right, so
Because I
then
think I'm worn down.
Version 10.
Version 10.
So we're adding 26 and 27 and we're deleting.
No!
That's fine.
That's fine.
Now, this Mayor Bobosi also suggests too, right?
We can look at both
So-
these, but it, to some degree, yeah.
Yeah, BOCES is like the skeletal.
Yeah, we did look at it, but
26 and
it's
27.
not exactly like BOCES.
All right, so,
So one more question on that. So then, for there on the 23rd, is that a full day?
Yes, both of those are
Well, you
full
could,
days.
yeah, I'd make it a full day.
23 and 22nd, 23rd.
22nd, 23rd.
What were you saying, Dr. Njoku, about other districts?
I was saying that you guys are speaking about BOCES, why we align it, so that we're in alignment with other districts because of where teachers live.
Yeah.
You want them to be in school.
Yeah. It's like the framework we work
Yeah.
on.
Right,
Okay,
right.
we're gonna move on.
Starting
That was a
point,
good.
the starting point.
Okay, so
It has
next
to be.
on our agenda is executive session.
Yay.
Can I write on your paper?
Yes, we're going with 4.
There you go.
We're going with 4A with
No.
switching around the days.
4,
No,
4.
Calendar 4.
Calendar 4.
Oh, so we're not.
No,
It has the
We
extra
did
holiday.
this, that's 4A.
no.
It's actually 4B.
Calendar 4. Technically, take calendar 4. They're gonna go December 22nd, they're gonna go December 23rd, and you're gonna give the May 26th and 27th.
And a half a day before Thanksgiving.
All right, can I get a motion? Can I
I
get a
move
motion?
that we adjourn to executive session to discuss information relating to proposed pending or current litigation, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters, and/or employee records,
Yes.
and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, and including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And it's 7:50
You had,
PM.
you said you first going, or did we come in now?
But that's all good. All right.
That's why I went to executive.
I was just giving you
realized
information
that.
what the board.
Okay, well.
What a head. It was on record. And that's,
Here it is.
I'm stressing my children for straight before you submit anything.
Are we, are we,
That's not your job.
ready to go? Okay, we're back from executive session. Personnel instructional items, can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the non-instructional personnel items except item G1?
I move that we approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening, except item G1.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I get a motion for board action items?
I move that we approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I get a motion for pupil personnel services items?
I move that we approve the pupil personnel services items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Review agenda items for next meeting. We have IB advisor appointments. We have minutes. We have policy approvals. We have an annual district meeting discussion. We have, approval. We have school calendar approval, treasurer's report, warrant report, donation from ACME, donation from Chestnut Market, business contract for CRP sanitation, health services contract from Bronxville, health services from Eastchester, health services from Harrison, health services from Portchester, Rye, health services from Rye City, health services from Somers, joint bid with Southern Westchester BOCES, missing 18, surplus equipment from Facilities Department, amendment from Fair Care Staffing, PPS contract for Erickson Translations, PPS contract for the Howland School, PPS contract for the Carafin School, PPS contract for the Westchester School for Special Children. Next item on the agenda, new business. Is there any new business? No, but I'll say I did skip over earlier the budget discussion, excuse me. There is not a presentation, but I want to turn the meeting over to Dr. Iverson to say anything regarding the budget.
Ms. Raymond, well, we left the last meeting 2 weeks ago where we presented the budget, and we're here tonight to answer any further questions the board may have and to find out from the board. Is there any direction you would like for us to take in terms of next steps? So,
Anyone? I'll take the opportunity to say I would like to see a human resource person put into the budget somehow, not necessarily an assistant superintendent level, but a level where there's a position that can focus simply on hiring, maybe some form of investigation. I don't know legally what person can do that.
So are you saying, Trustee Mears, we want to increase the budget and increase the tax
I don't
levy?
like increasing the budget though. That's the catch.
I don't like increasing the budget either.
I'm just saying, you asked for feedback. My feedback is
that's
there a
fine.
way to get a human resource person, position, if there's some sort of cooperative, what do you call it, COSA or something that we can do, to address some of our
hiring needs.
hiring, there's lots of things that
All
HR
the
does.
pieces,
Yeah, all the
right. I know what
pieces
you
that they
mean.
do.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
Oh.
If the answer is no, you can say no.
Okay.
I don't bite, but I do ask, yes.
Trustee Ballard.
No, I'd just like to say that I am pleased with the work that's been done so far. I think I said this last time. I'm happy with the overall number and percentage we're at right now, thinking of the needs that we have for the next year as well as the following year. I think that sets us up for success rather than failure, but I would be interested in seeing maybe in the packet, I just want to understand within the budget numbers that we have currently, I'm interested to know what PD we might be might have budgeted for next year, whether it's via BOCES or whatever, like what's already in those numbers. And that may be in the report that you shared with us last week, and I only read through half of it, so it may
I
already
can pull it out.
be there. Okay,
I can pull it.
thank you.
Yes, trustee Long?
I concur with Trustee Valen. I appreciate all the work that's gone into it and the theme of sustainability, and I'm okay with the numbers as you've presented them.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or suggestions for the budget? Did you?
No, mine was another new business thing.
Oh, different new business.
Yes.
Anything for the budget? Anything they want to see or ask about, requests? No? New business item.
Just that the Good for Girls Career Expo is this Saturday for girls 9 to 18 years old, from 8 to 4, breakfast and lunch is included. It's $25 to register, and go to www.goodforgirlsinc.org. There's registration there. Last I heard, they're expecting like 200 girls to attend, which is very cool. And I will be there with an art therapy booth. So
Where is the expo?
it's at SUNY,
Which one?
Westchester Community College. And so all the kids go and like pick different seminars to go to, and they're usually around like entrepreneurship and like resume building and just kind of career outlook. And then the second half of the day is a career fair with all different types of professions. It's, at least last year, every professional there was female, and so it was a really interesting dynamic to be able to see women in some very high-powered roles, and it was very cool.
Okay.
Last thing.
Is it yes?
Last thing, since we are being filmed, I'd just like to say for the general public that if you have any questions regarding the budget, please email budget@greenburghcsd.org. If you have any questions, they will be addressed by our Assistant Superintendent for Business, Ms. Lisa Raymond. Thank you.
I look at it every day.
All right.
There's not one question in it.
I know, I'm sort of sending emails.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Is it properly moved in second in discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstention, motion carries, 12:20 a.m.
Oh,
We're only 2 hours and 20 minutes behind.